This is the same exact lamps that were installed perhaps back in the early 1980s, late 70s. And they are still in operation, believe it or not. They have been probably replaced twice to 3 times since then, but still burning. So the next frame of this video will be outside to take a look at those lamps. Please stand by.
Hello everyone. May I say that gas discharge lamps were ever so popular in the heyday of neon tubes that lavishly lighted New York's Broadway and Times Square marquee, burlesque, and billboard extravaganza. Namely, neon and low-pressure mercury fluorescence flooded amusement parks and carnivals. For generations, the razzle-dazzle of glitzy glorification had revivified recreational platforms, sports arenas, conventions, and assemblies worldwide. In the mid-industrial boom of the turn of the century, when shortly afterwards such lighting pioneers as Nikola Tesla reached an apex of merit, fame, and a jolt of thunderbolt wonder. From the first inception of short-arc xenon searchlights used for spectacular events, to the ubiquitous high-pressure mercury and sodium vapor lamps over boulevards and avenues and intersections of the city grid, and even those that illumine the Niagara Falls every night year-round. The demand for lamplight reliability was wanted. And now, fast forward to present-day nostalgia. So here we are at, or nearside, the United Nations Block and Multiplex Center. I'm about to take a walk-through montage, or rather, a pictorial cue of ceiling-recessed, 250 watts each mercury vapor lamps, perhaps installed in the early 1980s or late 70s. This, of course, as in the aforesaid, is a pedestrian half-tunnel arcade alleyway open to First Avenue, around and in between 42nd and 41st Streets. But beyond the parkway that lies hereupon parallel, the New York City East River runs up north and down southward through the entire megalopolitan area. There is an historical landmark preserved storefront inside this pedestrian runabout called Edelweiss, a quaint nook and cranny closed down florist shop and or restaurant, it would appear. Otherwise, the somewhat discontinued brick and steel building barricades an enclosed warehouse and office center right behind the aluminum fence. The private premises have been fenced off for the last couple of decades and used by city maintenance and suppliers of the United Nations district. We are not sure as to the wherefore functionality, nor exact purpose thereof, by and large. Now, doubtless, security surveillance and a no disclosure of any sort program prevail on an automatic round-the-clock timetable. No information, therefore, could be gleaned from any of the public hot spots. At any rate, here are these 250 watts mercury vapor lamps, some still shining, and others long burnt out and defunct. These, for your information, have been continually on 24/7 non-stop. Some of the rather antiquated lanterns have blistered for over the last 10 to 20 years, since having been reinstalled a long time ago. The ballasts, by the way, tubed and tucked up into the ceilings, are still humming quietly, an indication that rust and corrosion has not, as yet, gotten the better part of the core and coil of each recessed fixture. Apparently, for the time being, the light output, as seen in this camera footage, resembles that of the greenish-yellow or fulvous visual spectrum with an emittance of UV radiation characteristic of such arc tube technology from way back, when the light-emitting diode frenzy had not taken over vogue-wise like nowadays, unfortunately. With blatant temerity, they say, LED is for energy savings, but in the long haul, the toxic plastics of such artificial material cannot be recycled, and pose an environmental contamination, hazard in contrast to glass, metal, and mercury, which were reprocessed adequately under preparatory contingency and whatnot. Research shows that the toxic plastics of LED are greater polluters, much more so than the former materials. And so, let us rewind backward to the old luminaries. Well, hither they shine, the olden lamps of bygone, which indefatigably provide that added luminance to a tiny part of the Big Apple, the New York City metropolis. Albeit, these lanterns light up one of the most important and prominent sectors of the entire world, the international UN. And besides, regarding the import of our showcase landmark facility, we would proclaim, long live the Mercury vapor bygone era, henceforth, the commercial lighting memorial of what once was. Make it so. Yeah, the more meaningful ancient light. These, the electric quasars of blindingly bright white light of a harsh glare. This then is exemplified by the Igluna scorched torch lamp shown beforehand in our Immaculatorium episode. Now, the preceding torchlight was built back in the year 2018 or thereabouts. It features an electronic transformer, unlike the older core and coil seen here, with arc voltage frequency from 20 to 40 kHz. A more seamless and smooth light output of very bright effulgence has been attained in the household instead of standardized 60 Hz. Our goal of Project Immaculatorium is to reveal the electric quasar effulgent effect of hotter, plasma-pressurized lamps that far exceed cooler and more impersonal LED lighting. However, there have been innovative developments and exceptions to the rule, that of warmer, euthermic lighting, and surprisingly of light-emitting diode technology, which may possibly achieve that star-bright sunlight efficacy, well known in plasmatic long and short-arc photon emitters. Only time will tell the difference. Wherefore, we hope this documentary footage has inspired many of you to look back to an entirely radiant epoch, when high-intensity discharge and arc lamp lighting at least simulated the starlight starbright sparkle and glory of the divine Theon Lux. Again, that which once was. May the long-defunct 250 watts of mercury vapor utility, for good usage, bring about inspiration into the future of incandescent and fluorescent afterglow that has highlighted landmarks, such as this one of the United Nations vicinity. Special attribution was given to highly efficient candle power development with such super taper revelation. Of course, by none other than the Igluna and M87 Scorcher, the blindingly bluish and unwaveringly white light. Tally-ho and take care. And, let there be light. Keep looking up.
This is the Igluna lamp. Manufactured in the year 2017. It is quite effective. This metal vapor torch. It has a quite greenish-white candle power and intensity. On the side it has M87, an example of the trillion star galaxy, very far away, Messier 87, and the overall lamp that you see here. The Igluna torchlight. Quite a bright spectacle. And I shall shut it off, and you will see the afterglow that I have glazed upon the top crown of this lighting appliance fixture. And there we have it.